And you know what? I'll tell y'all one thing. You can't hurt me. The Bengals do it enough. Welcome to the jungle, Bengals fans. I'm Kyle Phelps, and I wonder if Eli Apple is booking his flight to Cancun now, or if he's going to wait a couple of days. It wasn't his fault alone that we lost, but the thing is, if you're going to talk like that, you better back it up on the biggest stage, and this is 2 years in a row that he didn't. Travis Kelce did. More on that in a minute. But anyway, before we get into debriefing this game, I'd just like to ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. It really helps my channel grow, and it helps you know when all of my content comes out. And a quick side note, it can be really painful being a Bengals fan sometimes, but I always feel like 1,000,000,000% better when I do these videos, man. Like, this community is really small right now, but y'all make it so worth it. Alright, so it's a real rivalry now, folks. I think Lindsay Patterson put it best when she said after the Bengals beat the Chiefs back in the regular season, at some point the other team has to win for it to be a rivalry. Well, the Chiefs finally got one over the Bengals. It sucks that it had to happen on like this stage with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line, but that's how rivalries tend to go, and now it's a real one. But seriously, it was another really fun season from the squad, y'all. We got to see them in back-to-back AFC Championships, with most teams just aren't able to do most of the time. In fact, I believe this was only the second back-to-back AFC Championship rematch ever. The only other time that I can think of was John Elway's Broncos beating Bernie Kosar's Browns in back-to-back years in the 80s. And at least the Bengals got one over the Chiefs last year. This year, though, it was a really good, tightly contested game all the way through. The biggest issue was the Bengals' patchwork offensive line reared its ugly head once again. Joe Burrow was sacked 5 times, and he didn't have any time to throw on seemingly every play in the first half. And I told y'all as soon as we lost last year's Super Bowl that we're going to win it this year if we fix the offensive line. To the Bengals' credit, they did fix the starting lineup. They had, Lyle Collins, despite, some of his up and down play, Alex Kappa and Ted Karras were great additions, and they had it in the bag, but the depth just wasn't quite there, and we're still relying on Hakeem Adeniji to go up against guys like Frank Clark and Chris Jones this year, when it was like Von Miller and Aaron Donald last year. On that note, though, it funnily enough ended with the exact same score as last year's Super Bowl did, 23-20. T. Higgins had a big game, Jamar Chase had some big plays too, but ultimately the running game was not very effective, and the pressure was just a little bit too much for Joe Burrow to handle. See that overthrow to T. Higgins that got intercepted with 7 minutes left on a tie ball game, and then him getting hurried on pretty much every play on the final drive before they eventually had to punt the ball back to the Chiefs with 41 seconds left and a Chiefs timeout. And by the way, y'all, leave Joseph Ossai alone. I know it's only a handful of idiots who are really giving him shit for screwing up at the end, but it wasn't Ossai's fault that we lost. I know he was the catalyst, but it wasn't his fault, at least entirely. How about that 29-yard kick return, punt return, that the special teams allowed with the game on the line? Or B.J. Hill not bringing Patrick Mahomes down and letting him, slip his way out and get the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco on the play before Ossai's screw up? Or how about Mike Hilton whiffing on the tackle and letting him pick up 6 yards in the first place? Or there's Sam Hubbard taking a bad angle and giving Mahomes a first down on that play. And at that point, there's only 8 seconds left in the game, but the way the defense is playing, you figure the Chiefs are probably going to pick up another 8 yards and get in field goal range anyway. So really, Ossai's penalty just put an exclamation mark on what was already happening on that drive. So did Ossai fuck up for getting sloppy and hitting Mahomes late? Yeah. Was it unacceptable? Of course it was. But it wasn't his fault alone that we lost the game. In general, I'm really encouraged by all the people I've seen choosing to support him after he clearly felt like shit after the game. He's a bright young player with a great future ahead of him, so let's not damn him for this one play. He's gonna be fine. It's not like he fumbled the ball with seconds left on the clock when all he gotta do is basically go down on a knee, or, targeted a guy with his helmet with the opponents pinned in their own territory. I'm looking at you, Vontaze Burfict and Jeremy Hill. And you know what? I'll tell y'all one thing. You can't hurt me. The Bengals do it enough. But seriously, this is the most fun I have ever had watching my team play before, and if every season ends in this kind of heartbreak, then that's a lot better than where we came from, you know? I actually had to console my son this morning because he was really upset about the loss. He was taking it really hard, and I told him the fact that they got here is proof that they're one of the best teams. You know, they'll be back soon. And that right there is a hell of a leap from where they were when I was a kid. My dad had to console me because the Bengals just lost all the damn time and were never competitive. So, yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I'm still having fun. One more thing before I leave off, though. I do want to talk about the refs. A lot of people are mad at me because I'm not blaming the refs for the loss, and frankly, I thought it was a pretty average game from them overall. We've had much worse ref games this year, and the Bengals overcame those games. My perspective is you just can't put yourselves in that position to begin with. Sure, the intentional grounding penalty was really dumb, and the 5th down that they gave the Chiefs was really poorly mismanaged at best. Although, the Bengals also forced a punt on that drive, so kindly shut up. But acting like the refs determine the outcome of this game any more than they normally do is honestly silly. But as always, I'm always open to discourse on that one and pretty much anything else. Let me know what you guys thought about the game in the comments below. The refs, the game, or, Travis Kelce, or, even Frank Clark's comments after the game. By the way, Travis Kelce, that man is a damn warrior for going out there and balling out the way he did with back spasms. We love it when our dudes jaw after, big accomplishments. So I feel like you can't really get too mad when other teams do it, But anyway, let me know in the comments below, and I'll feature the best ones in my next video, like this one from Zach Carey, who said in my divisional recap video, another banger. Much love, fam. Hope to see you at some games next year. Go Bengals, hooday! That's right, Zach. I didn't have a chance to get out at any games this year, but I'm getting my financial situation right, and at some point, I hope to have, season tickets, like full and complete season tickets. And at that point, we might switch to more of like a vlogging type of style with this channel instead of like a streaming type. But I don't know, we'll kind of play it by ear and see what happens. But either way, I appreciate the support, Zach. So like I said, that's it for me, y'all. I'll probably do a Super Bowl recap because, I'm still interested to see what happens in that game. But other than that, we're headed into the offseason, and I've got a ton of plans for this one. I know I missed last offseason almost entirely, but, I've got some ideas this time around. Definitely keep an eye out because I got Bengals content coming, I got NFL content coming, and maybe even a few other things coming. We'll see. Stay tuned. Until then, y'all can always catch more of what I do at KylePhelps92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/ThePhelps, Butt Fumble Sports, the Battle of Ohio podcast, which is on the Spot Pod Network, Podbean, and right here if you subscribe. 31 teams finish every NFL season in pain, everybody. This year, it'll either be the Eagles or the Chiefs who don't. But because of that, I'll leave y'all, as always, with a hootie!